Hello everyone, and welcome back to our WordPress front-end development course. I want to say congratulations to those that have completed the module 1. And in the module 1, we look at what is WordPress and why is WordPress so popular, different type of website you can build with WordPress, etc. So now it is time to get the practical aspect of it. In this module 2, I will be showing you guys how to install WordPress on your own computer. And the good thing is that you don't need to buy a domain name or pay for any web hosting. And we'll be using a software called XAMPP. XAMPP is a local server. We have so many local servers such as Easy PHP, Uniform Server, AMPPS, Laragon, Local WP, MAMP, WAMP, and XAMPP itself. So for the course of this training, we'll be using only XAMPP. So I know some of you are just hearing the word XAMPP for the first time, but don't panic because I will explain what is XAMPP and why we need it and how to install the XAMPP step by step. And together, we're going to download the XAMPP, install it, and start the required services such as MySQL, PHP, etc. After that, we're going to download WordPress, create a database, install WordPress, and log in into the WordPress dashboard. If I do something on my screen, you are free to pause the video if you need to and do the same thing on your computer. Remember, the best way to learn is by practicing. And by the end of this module 2, you will have your own WordPress website running on your computer, and you'll be ready to start building amazing websites. So now, let's look at introduction to local development. Introduction to local development. So now, our module 2 is installing WordPress locally using XAMPP. So introduction to local development is the content under our module 2. We also have prerequisite and system requirement, downloading and installing XAMPP, configuring the XAMPP control panel, preparing the WordPress file, creating MySQL database, as I've earlier explained, the WordPress famous 5-minute install, finalizing site setting and login, summary, and lastly, summary and best practice. So, introduction to local development. So, what is local? First of all, you cannot just dive into something without knowing some basic terms involved. So now, what is local? If you're talking about local, it simply means what? On your own computer. For example, if you save a picture on your laptop, that picture is stored locally because it is on your own computer and no one can have access to it. And for instance, if you create a Microsoft Word document and save it on your desktop, it is also still local. The same thing idea applied to website. When you build website on your own computer without putting it on the internet, we call it local development. So, do we use local development? You might be wondering, do we use local development? That's a good question. We use local development because one, it is free. You don't have to buy hosting like the other one that you have to go and buy domain. You have to go and buy the domain first before you now do any other. No, it is free. You don't have to buy hosting, and you don't have to buy a domain name before you start anything. Everything works on your computer. And secondly, it is safe. If you make mistake, nobody will see them. Only you can have access to the website because it is stored locally. If you make mistake, you can still go and correct it. Nobody will see it and say, you made mistake on your website. I don't know. But the one that you bought the domain or the hosting, once you are editing, they will be seeing it live and this person made mistake. So you see why it is advisable you use local server, local environment to do your website before uploading it. So, and thirdly, it helps you practice. You can build as many websites as you want without spending money. You can build like 10 to 15 websites without even spending any time because everything is stored locally. And Okay, what of if you bought the domain and you were posting? Definitely, before you have to create another website, you have to still go and buy another domain. You see, so it's advisable you use local server to do your website. If you don't have enough phone, then when you have the money, you will now proceed ahead, get the domain name and the hosting. And fourthly, it is fast. Since everything is on your computer, the website loads quickly because you're not using data. So everything loads quickly. So now a local computer simply means your own computer. So some of you might what is local computer? A local computer simply means your own computer. It's just it's your own computer. That's why it is called a local computer. No one can have access to what is inside except you. So now let's look at what is local server. I'm trying to break down everything word by word so that we understand where we are heading to. So what is local server? A server is a computer that stores website. But before we look at local server, let's look at what is server. A server is a computer that stores website and send them to people when we visit them. Normally, websites are stored on powerful computers connected to the internet 24 hours a day. These are called web servers. Because now let's look at what is XAMPP. XAMPP is a local server, and XAMPP is a free software that turns your computer into a local server. Without XAMPP, WordPress cannot run on your computer. Think of XAMPP as the engine that powers your local website. And what does this XAMPP mean? XAMPP is an acronym. Each letter has a meaning. X stands for cross-platform. This means it works on different operating systems like Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. A stands for Apache. Apache is the web server. It is responsible for displaying your website in the browser. And M stands for MySQL. Now, XAMPP actually use Maria database, but many people still call it MySQL. This is where WordPress store all its information. P stands for PHP. PHP is the programming language used to build WordPress. And the last P also stands for what? PAR. And PAR is another programming language included with XAMPP, although we won't use this in this course. Benefit of installing WordPress locally. Number one, speed and efficiency. It allows for faster development and testing without the need for internet connection or server latency. So now you can be able to develop your website, test it locally, and it's faster because there's no any network barrier. There's no barrier that will make it load slower. To load slow. It will be faster when loaded. Then, secondly, we have cost-free environment. It provides a risk-free workspace to experience with theme and plugins without incurring hosting fees. Now, as I earlier said, everything is free because you only download necessary themes and you work on it. There's no need of let me you must have to buy. No. You don't have to buy any hosting. You don't have to do the hosting or buy domain before you do it. Then thirdly, it enhances security. That is, it enables developers to build and debug websites privately without deploying them in a live public facing server. So now it enhances security. Now some things that you'll be doing that are supposed to be private, it's only you that is supposed to be seeing it. It is when you are done, then you now upload. So it helps. Okay, let's look at the overview of the WordPress and XAMPP workflow. The environment setup. Utilize XAMPP to simulate a live server environment by providing Apache, MySQL, and PHP on a local machine. Database configuration. It creates a dedicated MySQL database via PHP mining to store WordPress site content and settings. Now, this database configuration now, once you download your XAMPP, your WordPress, which we are going to, in the next, we are going to do that. Now, prerequisite and system requirement. What are things you need? What are the requirements that you need to get the XAMPP and WordPress on your system? Now, system com compatibility. Ensure your computer runs a modern operating system, such as the Windows 10, Windows 11, or the Mac operating system, or a stable Linux distribution to support the latest XAMPP version. So you cannot just go and download WordPress on the Windows 7 and rest. Yes, it might, but it will be slow. It will not give you what you want. There are some updated version of XAMPP that you need to download. So it will not work on all those minor systems, minor Windows and the rest. So you need a higher window like that of Windows 10 and Windows 11. Then source allocation. At least you need at least 4 gig of RAM and maybe 1 gig of free disk space. Also recommended to handle the concurrent process of the web server and database without significant lag. So now you need something that once you're doing, your system will not be delaying because the file is heavy for it. And also administrative privilege. You must have administrator access to the machine to modify system file and configure network port and install service like Apache and MySQL. Now, looking at it, there are some organizations that they have they have customized the system whereby it's you cannot download anything on the system because it is an organization system. It's only the administrator that can come and download, give access to download. Or as a worker, you cannot download anything you feel like to download on the system. So you must make sure that your system, you have the page, you can download anything you want to download on your system. Understanding the role of XAMPP, that's Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Apache server, it acts as the local web server to process HTTP requests and serve website files to the browser. Now, I know some of you might want to ask, what is the full meaning of HTTP? Now, this HTTP is an acronym. It simply stands for what? Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Now, let's look at MySQL database. It serves as the relational database management system to store and retrieve all WordPress site data and content. PHP engine. The engine executes the server-side WordPress script and translate them into HTML for web to display. So the role of Apache in XAMPP is to act as the local web server to process the hypertext transfer protocol request and serve website file to the browser. Then MySQL database now serves as the relational database management system to store and retrieve all WordPress site data and content. Anything you are doing on your WordPress is stored in your MySQL. Now, the PHP engine now executes the server-side WordPress scripts and translate them into HTML. Now, the PHP now translates the WordPress script so that the browser now receive it as HTML and it displays for you to now see it. So where to download official software files. The XAMPP installer. Now, to download your XAMPP, you can come to this URL you are seeing here. Once you type this URL, it will now bring you to this. Though we are going to still talk about the installation. But this to download your XAMPP, you can come to this address and download your XAMPP. then WordPress core files. Now you can come to this URL site. Once you type it, you can be able to download your WordPress here. Then system documentation. Access the official support page for hardware requirement and OS compatibility specification for both platforms. Now, the system I'm using now is Windows 10 and it's 64 bits. So sometimes once you just go to the site, to automatically pick your it will pick the bits, maybe 32 or 64. But there are some that you go and download. Maybe someone downloaded that of 64 bit and send it to you, and you want to install. It will not work because you're using 32. So you need to go and download that of the 32. So now downloading and installing XAMPP. Now let's download the XAMPP. Once you type this, you're supposed to see something like this. Then if you are using Windows, you look for the latest version and download. If you're using browser, this, and then if you're using Linux, this is for Linux. And if you're using Mac OS, this is for Mac OS. So now I'm using Windows. So which one should I download? You look at it. Okay, this is the latest version. Let me download. You see, to show you awesome. The download will start automatically. If it does not start, click here. So let's wait a bit and see. Let's wait a bit and see if it's not download. We now click. Okay, it's downloading. It's downloading. Let's wait for it while it downloads. But while it is downloading, let's also go and be downloading WordPress because we are also going to need the WordPress. So once you come to this URL, this is your WordPress. Now download and install it yourself. Now this is the WordPress. Download WordPress version 7. So now click here to download. If you don't know how to go about it, how to install it, you can come here and click to get a guide on how to go about it. So let me download. Thank you for downloading WordPress. Still downloading. Still downloading. Let's see. The exam is downloading. This is WordPress and this is the exam file. So while waiting for it to download, okay, let's wait for it to download. Almost done. The exam is almost done. So let's just wait for it to download. But make sure you have a good internet. Because if your connection is bad, it's going to be high. It's going to be slow while downloading. It's going to be slow while downloading. If you have a bad network. So my exam has successfully installed. Likewise, my WordPress. So now click here. It opens. It opens to where you're installing. Now let's check the location of this. Now it's under download. So our advice, you right click on it, you run as administrator. You run it as administrator, then you click yes. Important because an activated user can control on your system. Please avoid to install them to program using right permission or deactivated. Okay, let's click OK. Now, welcome to XAMPP setup design. Now, click next. Don't touch anything here. Just keep on clicking next. Keep on clicking next. You see the file I was telling you guys, the PHP, MySQL, and the rest. So now let's keep on clicking next. It's ready to install. Setup is now ready to begin installing XAMPP on your computer. Continue, click on the next. Allow it to install. From pack and install. Sorry. Let's wait for it to install. Let's wait for it to install. All right. Let me be explaining something. No. If you still want, you can just come to either use the first URL or you use this. But this is the URL that you just download straight. Once you just click, you can decide to click. This is the version. This is the PHP version. So look at it. This is 8.0.30. This is 8.1. So this is greater than this, and this is greater than this. That's why I decided to download the latest version of it. Install it. Okay, let's go on. While waiting for it to, let's unzip this. Right click, come to extract. Can I click extract file here? Any of the extracts, let's extract here. So we're extracting this because it is zip. Now we're doing two things at a time. We're doing two things at a time because we are supposed to download and install the XAMPP first, then download the WordPress and install it. But we are doing this two at a time. Then after that, we're going to now configure the XAMPP control. So let's see if this has entered now, right? Then we have to wait for it to download because once it downloads, we are now going to copy our WordPress into the So this is the extracted part. Okay. This. No, I've done this several times. So for the sake of the training, I am downloading it again and I'm deleting some of the things I already have. So for you that you have, there's no need of you deleting. Just watch. This is our extracted WordPress. Waiting for the exam to install. Once the exam install, but not that downloading the exam and the WordPress, you must be connected to the internet because you cannot install Xamarin, you cannot download Xamarin and WordPress without being connected to the internet. Let's wait for it to download. Let's wait for it to download. Still waiting for it. Now they're downloading. They're downloading. Let me refresh. Have to wait for it. If there's anything you don't understand, you can still can ask your question on the comment section or the community general group. If there's anything you don't understand, you can ask your question. Waiting for it. Okay. Let's see. Next one. Still downloading. Still unpackaging. Mm. Yes, it has installed. And it's asking, do you want to start the control panel now? Yes. Yes, we want to start the control panel now. So click continue. Now, let's extract this. We're going to extract this and extract file. So click OK. Once it extracts, you will see it here. So this is the extracted file. What we're going to do here is let it extract. It's finished. Then we'll copy it. Then we'll double click to open. Then you can rename this and say, okay, let it be my okay. Let's say future proof. Let's name it future proof. Let's name it future proof. And then let's copy it. Now you come to local disk. Then you locate where your SAM is, and this is my SAM. You double click to open. Then you have to find htdocs. Once you see this htdocs, double click to open, and this is where you're going to paste this in the copy. You don't want to change the name, you can still leave it without WordPress. But mind you, you keep on using that WordPress in your local server. So I don't want to use WordPress. I want to rename it so that I will use my own name. I will use the name is good. While it is copying, remember this configuring XAMPP control panel. Now, in configuring this XAMPP control panel, the other time it was asking us if we want to launch, we say yes. So now, these are the most important thing you need to start. Without you starting this Apache and MySQL, I've explained what Apache is and MySQL. Without starting this two, no matter what you do, it won't work. So let's start, and it must show you green to show that yeah, it is working. So it's working. So now let's wait for it to copy. But let's confirm if our XAMPP is actually working. Let me disconnect. If you like, you can disconnect. Then you can leave it to still work. So local host, local host. You see, brought us here, it brought us here. So now, what do we do? PHP admin, PHP admin. Supposed to take us to the admin. See, this is the PHP admin. This is where you can create your MySQL database and create your database whereby you want to create a new database. You come to this place, database. You enter your database name. This are the previous ones I've done that you're seeing here. So let's say future underscore proof. So let me name my database future underscore p. Then create a successful. This is my database. Anything I'm doing in my WordPress, it will be saved in this. So let's see. Minutes more. To enter. Now it has successfully entered. So now we are done. We are done with downloading and installing XAMPP, downloading of WordPress, and configuring the XAMPP control, which is what we did here. We start. This is the configuring the XAMPP control part. We have started the Aperture, MySQL. Now the next is preparing the WordPress file, which I've done that. Now I've prepared by extracting and the rest. So we are extracting file to the htdocs where have whereby I have explained that renaming project folder for local access. Now I told you you can decide to leave it like that or leave it as the WordPress, but I decide to rename. It's either you rename or you leave it like that, or it's advisable you rename it to the name you want to use. Now creating my SQL database. That's what I just did. That's what I did by clicking localhost/php admin. Then you come to database. Once you click this, once you click this, you will now see this option database SQL status. Then you click database. Then you now type the name you want to. So this is the name I type. Then you create. Don't change. Don't touch anything here. So we are done creating the database. Now accessing my PR localhost. That's what I did. View localhost. Yeah, that you can see from here. We have done this also. Okay, now how do you access your admin? You access your admin. You don't want to type the localhost. You can just go and click under MySQL. Is either type this direct or you come to XAMPP and click admin to take you automatically to this place to create. Then you click and create your database. So now creating a new database for WordPress. Now we are done with creating database in my MySQL. Now we are creating a database for WordPress. Now access PHP admin, navigate to the local server dashboard where manage tables can specify this. Okay, now I told you now creating the my SQL database, which I've done that by telling you guys now creating the my SQL database, which I've done that whereby I click on you come to the browser, you type localhost/php admin, now bring you here, and you click database. Once you click database, you enter your database name, just have I've done here. Don't change anything, just create here. Or if you don't want to type localhost, you will just come to the sound street, click the admin, and it will automatically take you to PHP my admin. Then you click and create your account. So this is what I've just explained. The same thing I just explained. Now understanding database collection file and privileges. Use this to ensure maximum compatibility with diverse language and modules within the WordPress environment. Define specific administration rights for the database used to prevent unauthorized changes while allowing. Okay, now the WordPress famous 5-minute installation. How do we go about it? Now, locate the P configuration sample file in the WordPress root directory and, rename it to the essential. Okay, yes, we are going to set our WordPress now. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to type localhost slash the, name you see slash pw-admin. Once you type, it will bring you here. You have to set which English. Yes, we want to use English. You click let's go. Now, database name. Now, you're going to type exact what you did here. You're going to type the exact database name here. Because if you type wrong one, it will not work. Everything you're doing is just waste of time. So future underscore username, you leave it blank. Okay, username, put root, password, you leave it blank. Then you submit. Now, once you click the link, you will discover that it will bring you here. You click. Once you have done that, you type your site name. Let's say tech techness. Okay, let's use future proof also kite. Future proof also kite WordPress. LMS. Then you put the username you want to use. That's the one you're going to be able to log in into your WordPress with. So I can decide to put my email. Decide to put my email. Gmail. Then password. And put my password. I said decide to use this. I install. You click on install. Allow it to load. Then you have successfully installed. Then and click here to login. can click here to log in. Then you enter your information, that information using creating that your username or email, any of them, then your password, and you log in. Welcome. This is WordPress dashboard. This is your site. Let's view site and see. So this is your site, future proof. Let's look at WordPress LMS. So we have successfully checked this configuring database name, username, and password. We have done that. Finalizing site setting and logins. We have done that. This setting and logins. Setting up site and main credentials. We have done that. We have set the title to the future proof of security. Logging into your WordPress dashboard. We have done that by putting the localhost slash our username slash phw dash admin to log in. So we have checked it's functioning. We have checked the local site and it's functioning. So this is the site. This is the blog about the blog. This is about us. Hello, welcome to WordPress. So we have not done anything here. That's what you are seeing. Things like this. When we started the thing, you will now start saying it. Summary and best practice. So far, we explained so far the process begins by installing XAMPP. We started by installing XAMPP, running Apache MySQL. We did our database setup, WordPress deployment. To get more understanding, to read other materials, you can go to official WordPress URL. The one I showed you, there are some guides they check. You go to XAMPP community forum, check and ask questions, look at development best practice, database export, and you can go to this and get other materials. Thank you.